Hello, Bulldog fans. Hello, sports fans. Welcome to the Carthage Bulldog portion of Pigskin Preview, brought to you by Worthington Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Scott Surratt alongside as we talk about Bulldog football. Boy, a big one this week. But let's go back, first of all, to last Friday night. That game up at Texarkana. And I tell you what, I'm going to give you some amazing stats. I'm going to give you the halftime stats because the stats for the full game were distorted, in my opinion, because Van Alstyne in the second half against our 2s and 3s, they sped up their offensive pace, and they kept their 1s in against our 2s and 3s, and so the stats in the second half really did not reflect what the game was really like. But at halftime, the yardage was 321 for Carthage and -4 for the Panthers. First downs, Carthage was 15, and the Panthers picked up one first down. They picked it up on the final play of the first half when really, to be quite honest, when we were sort of a prevent defense. Connor Cuff, a couple of touchdown passes, and it was, again, 40-0 at halftime, 54-0 with 8:53 to play in the third. And then they started scoring against our 2s and 3s. So, Scott, I want to tell you, boy, the defense, what a performance by that group.
Yeah, you can't say enough because it was a little different offense. They run a little read option and things that we hadn't seen. And the quarterback was he's an OU commit in baseball. He can really, really run. You could saw that when he got loose on our other unit. And but we did first of all, the plan was put together very well by our defensive coaches, and the execution was flawless, and we played very well. And we got turnovers, we created turnovers, and because their offense that we were worried about going in, honestly, they could run. Both backs, I think that one back, 27, had over 1,300 yards, and 2 was their guy that made them go. He ran the ball a lot, and we knew if we stopped the run, they hadn't thrown the ball much, and we stopped it, obviously.
Number 2, against the first-round playoff team for Van Alstyne, and let's see, I've already forgotten who that was. Who was it, Scott? Help me out. Who did they play the first week?
Quinlan Ford.
That's right, Quinlan Ford. Number 2, the quarterback, the first game, ran for 240 yards. The quarterback ran for 240. Well, we scored 61. The final score was 61-30. This year's team, the first team in the 16 years of Coach Surratt to score 60 in 3 different ball games. All right, let's take a look now at the Gilmer Buckeyes. Carthage with 7 straight victories against Gilmer. All right, tell us what we're going to see this next Friday night.
Lots of speed, number one. It just pops on tape how fast they are. Both backs can run. Obviously, 22 was the state champion in 100 meters, and 9's been a starter for 3 years. And he's a very good player. Then 17 has been a starter for 3 years. He caught 2 touchdowns against us in the state championship game a couple of years ago, Flew Ellen. And he's a really good player. They moved him to quarterback because young Tennyson is now the quarterback, but he got hurt against Rusk and did not play this last week. But, man, they got speed everywhere from number 7 to 10 to, I could keep calling a 1. Those guys can really run. And, they're solid defensive front, starting with a nose guard, 56, and, they just got a really good football team.
So what are we going to have to do? What's the key to winning this ball game?
Well, we got to execute, and we got to play better, and play better than those guys do, and we got to be physical with them, obviously, and I'm sure they're preaching the same thing, and but we got to win the line of scrimmage, and then, we got to execute and passing game, we got to execute our run game, and then defensively we got to do what we do and get them one-dimensional. And if we can do that, we ought to be fine.
All right. Let's talk about this. The officials. Now, both schools I know this year for certain have used the Longview chapter, which is officially the East Texas chapter, and also the Tyler chapter. So where are we going for the officials?
Tyler. We went to Tyler and a guy named Lance Mathis, and we've had him this year. And they've had him this year, and so he'll do a good job for us.
So in other words, this is the case where both coaches agree on a particular crew.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's take a look now at next week. We always ask you about this. Well, first of all, before we do that, incidentally, we're recording this on Monday afternoon, early in the week, so you've only had one practice for Gilmer. What was it like today?
It was early in the morning. Had to get them up. You know, we went at 8 o'clock and watched the video and didn't watch much of Van Alstyne. We wanted to go on to Gilmer, and so we did. We showed them a lot of Gilmer this morning, and then we had a good practice. We was on the field at 9. We did start off blitz pickup, ones against ones, and you know, I thought it went well. I thought our pace was good, and so we'll see if that continues throughout the week. I think it will. It's special times, get to practice during Thanksgiving, and get to play on Thanksgiving. So we're excited. I heard we already sold a lot of tickets, so there's going to be a lot of people there, great atmosphere, and that's the way it should be. Friday night football with two of the best programs, if not the best two programs in the state.
You know, some folks are saying this is in essence, the state championship game. Well, a lot of games to be played after this one. I don't think you can say that yet.
No, you never can say that. There's too many things could happen. You know, I'm sure there's some great teams out there. I know some very talented teams. You know, when you watch Pleasant Grove and Gilmer, that could have, you know, it looks like it was not that close, 35-14 ball game, but it was 7-0 right before half, and Pleasant Grove fumbled on the one, and then Gilmer scored with like 5 seconds to go to make it 14-0. So it was definitely a lot closer game than the score indicated, and but man, there's so much talent out there with Silsby and Wichita Falls Hershey. You know, they got beat in the semis, and I heard they had the ball in the 5 against the state champion Stephenville, less than a minute going in, and got beat by I believe 3 last year or 5 or something like that. And so there's a lot of talented teams out there, and you know, there's so many things that can happen between now and then. Anyway, we're looking at one thing in Gilmer, but you know, we could get beat up. You know, injuries, they get beat up, injuries, you know, whoever. You got to stay healthy, a little bit of luck, and then play well.
Well, so this is certainly a big one, and so let's take a look at next week, because we always ask you about the following week. Aubrey over Center in 4 overtimes, and it's going to be Aubrey or Pleasant Grove next week. You got any thoughts on locations?
I hadn't talked to Aubrey at all yet, so I've got to give those guys a call, and we have talked to Pleasant Grove. You know, at this point, we don't know exactly where we're going to play. So, but hopefully we're playing next week. And that's it. You know, Pleasant Grove, Aubrey, you know, whoever it is, as long as we take care of business and play well this week and hopefully get a win, and we'd love to be playing next week.
All right, we always give you the final word, Coach. What do you say about this Gilmer game?
Well, it's just going to be a great atmosphere. We know that. It's going to be electric, lots of energy, and, you know, we love the stadium. And so very familiar with the stadium. They're very familiar with the stadium. We've been on the home side. We've been on the visitor side. That's not going to be any thing to do with it. It's a 120-yard field, and it's 53 yards wide, so it's going to be the best team, the one that plays the best, and the best team come out there with a win, and we're excited about it. And I'd like to see us have more fans than those guys, because I know they're going to have a ton. So let's come out with your red and yell for the Bulldogs.
All right, quite an atmosphere on Friday night. Remember, it's a 6 o'clock kickoff, 6 o'clock kickoff at Lobo Stadium in Longview. All right, for head coach Scott Surratt, I'm Larry Allen, wishing you a great weekend. So long, everybody.